varsity sport performance by our program. As a head coach, you got to take responsibility for that. And their entire program has to take it head on, go back to work, and build where we are. We got a lot of work to do. Questions?
Mario, it's the first time this program has scored 3 or less points since 2015. The offense just, I know there's obviously Tyler had his issues, and offensive line, whatever, but the offense just never really got it going tonight. Is there an explanation?
We didn't get it going, and looked like there was a spark down in the second half. We snapped the ball early, and they got away. Aside from that first drive, we drove it down there, but settled for a field goal. And then after that, I believe it was second or third drive, Tyler got, after a punt, Tyler got hurt, and so we tried to get some things going with a combination of Jakari and Jake, but that resulted in very little production.
What did you see out of Jakari? Used him a lot in the second. The decision to give him the QB reps in the second half.
Well, we felt that he could throw the ball well, and we felt the combination of him, making them respect the quarterback run and trying to get the running game going would give us a chance to work our way into the game. We weren't getting the type of production in the running game that we thought could put us in second and manageable, third and short. And a couple times, early in the game, we got stopped on a third and short and ended up punting around like 29-yard line. And those are the things we thought we could generate with him in there, and we didn't do it to the level we thought we could.
Mario, what's Tyler's status? Do you know what he's going to be able to do going forward? Obviously, he got in and out, tried to come back into the game tonight, but do you know what his status might be going forward?
I don't. I know he looked good this week in practice, latter part of practice, and looked good to start the game, and then it just went south.
Jalen Rivers going down, how much did that hurt?
He was hurt pretty good. He went down, so we went with Lawrence Seymour, right guard.
What was the biggest issue, I guess, defensively?
Big plays. I mean, we played counter really well. They ran counter right up the gut. We didn't stop it very well. A big part of it was tackling. Another part of it was being able to spill the first puller, hold the point in the double team, and then just get in there and do what we've done really well. We've been able to stop the run. We didn't do those things technically well enough. Obviously, we got to teach it better, call it better, all those things that go with it. Thought we had a chance to get out the field right away to start the game. I think we got hit with a pass interference. They come back with counter pass, throw it over the top for a big play. So big plays for the story. I think they had 5 plays for over 240, 250 yards. So we got work to do. We got to build. We got to build, man. I knew it, but we got to build stuff like this.
How does score a touchdown in 9 quarters? What can you do to like during the season to fix the offense, try to get it going?
Yeah, we got to find ways. We got to tweak stuff. We got to find ways to produce. Obviously we came in here with a plan. I think Coach Gaddis runs a great offense. Obviously ran really well at Michigan, and was very successful in things he was involved with at Alabama, but we're not there yet from a development standpoint. So we got to find ways to generate yards, first down, and points. And I'm trying to uncover every stone to try to do that, and we haven't. So it starts with the run game.
A few more questions for Coach.
You had a great crowd tonight. Finally, it must be extra disappointing, I guess.
Well, they were awesome. It was a place that was electric to start off, and it was. I have to apologize to them because it's what we want. It's what we want. It's what we're building to be and building to do. And trust me, no one feels this more than I do. But I hate it for our people. I hate it for our fans. I hate it for our players. We're in a building process, and we're laying a foundation and got to go to work, and it ain't fun. And days like this are really painful, and there's no excuse, there ain't no sidestepping or sugarcoating it. So that's why I came here. Got to go to work. Got to do lots of it. So
Mario, they were up 35 in the fourth quarter and throwing the ball on 4th down. Some people
trying to run up the score. Did you feel that at all?
I don't care about that stuff. It's their job to score, it's our job to stop them. You know, one day we'll switch shoes.
Coach, is this rock bottom for you all as a program?
You guys speak in those terms, man. I ain't talking about rock bottom. I don't talk like that. I don't. I very well knew what we had to do here. We got to go to work. That's the bottom line. So that's how we approach it, and that's what we're doing.
And as far as championship culture, do you feel like a loss like this will help motivate the team?
They should. They're all learning lessons. Use every bit of it, good and bad.
Last question for Coach. Yeah, all season long you've dealt with the slow starts. Is that one thing that you're trying to work through? You know, every game you're always playing from behind.
We're trying to work through everything. We're trying to work through every bit of what comes with this, you know? And so, that's definitely one of the things. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. You just heard Mario Cristobal in the post-game presser after last night's 45-3 loss to FSU. Folks, it was ugly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it like Coach did. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was as bad as 1984 when we lost 38-3 in Jimmy's first year here and 47-0 in 1997 up in Tallahassee. That was Butch's third year. We were coming off the probation years. Last night was bad in many ways, folks. In the first half, we stopped FSU on third down. And both times they get drives extended because of stupid PI penalties. And both times they made us pay for it. You cannot win when you have 62 yards passing. 62 yards passing. You cannot win when you only have 76 yards total offense in the first half and allow 304. You cannot win when you have a -3 in turnover margin. You cannot win when you allow 454 yards of total offense to 188. Okay? Can't win that way. Can't win that way. This was as bad, like I said, this was as bad as 84 and 97 to FSU. This was very bad. Okay? Like Mario said, we learned from this good and bad. And folks, last night was very, very bad in every facet. Florida State dominated us in all three phases of the game. All three. What could go wrong last night for us did go wrong. Again, you don't win when you commit 4 turnovers against a team like that. You're not going to beat. We committed 8 against Duke, and we got blasted. We committed 4 last night, and we got destroyed. Okay? Now, we're going to learn from this for sure. Like Mario said, very soon, the shoe will be on the other foot again. Okay? When you look at the numbers last night, and folks, they were very ugly. Okay? When you look at the third down conversions, they were 6 for 11 on third down. We were 4 for 13. And they converted once on fourth down. 5 of their 6 drives, 5 of 6 in the red zone, all of them, 5 of those 6 were touchdowns. We only got in the red zone once, but that was when the game was long decided. The average starting field position, we started on an average of our own 17. That's pitiful. FSU started from their own 38 on average. Stinks that TVD got hurt. The passing game only had 62 yards last night, 10 and 19 total. Total. Our leading rusher last night was Jacurri Brown, who had 64 yards rushing. Other than that, Rooster, Parrish, Thad, I call them our big three, had a total of 82 yards rushing. You are not going to win when you have your big three combined for that many yards, for that much. And you only have 126 yards total rushing. Not going to win that way. We could not stop Benson last night. 15 carries, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tackling was pitiful. Okay? We could not stop Benson, and we sure as hell could not stop FSU's running game. They had 229 yards rushing, 225 passing. They had 454 yards of total offense last night against a defense that was one of the better ones in the country. This was a failure in all 3 phases, from coaches and players on down. This was very bad. This was a beating, folks. Now, I got to ask yourself, where do we go from here? Oh, the grading's very simple. F across the board. F across the board. Period. There's no other way to say it. Last night was an embarrassment. Last night was ugly. And it rivaled 84 and 1997, if you remember those games. 84, we got blown out 38-3. 97, the 47-0 in Tallahassee. FSU drubbed us there. Where do we go from here? Georgia Tech next Saturday at 3:30. I got to see how fast we dust ourselves off from this. Because there's only one way to go, and that's probably up. No other way to say it, folks. Last night was a beating. Last night was an embarrassment. And last night was one that was really painfully obvious. It's time to go to the youth movement the rest of the season. The last 3 games. And I don't know, the best you can hope for now is 6-6, and maybe you get in a bowl game. That's the best you can hope for right now. We're 4-5. Got to win this week. Next week against Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And then, of course, you lose to Clemson. That puts you at 5-6. With Pitt being for bowl eligibility. Folks, there's no other way to say it. This was an embarrassment. I was totally embarrassed, and every Cane fan should be totally embarrassed about last night. Every one of them. Now, were there going to be losses like this? Mario said it, sure. But what you do yourself, you learn from it. You learn from it, good and bad. There were going to be lessons. Yes, it's a long work. We got a lot of work to do. Last night, we regressed in every facet. Every facet we regressed last night. Back on our next pod will drop Thursday for Georgia Tech. I will see you then. And win or lose, go Canes.